Um, Ms. Cabrera, I will allow members to ask you questions. You are within your right to plead the fifth if you so decide. If you feel that there is reasonable reason that you may be incriminating yourself. Counsel, can you just enlighten the members as to the issue regarding the pleading the fifth?
In what respect?
Yeah, can a witness plead the fifth on any question or for any reason?
They can if they have a reasonable likelihood that they're going to be prosecuted or can be prosecuted, and that the answer would be incriminating.
Counsel, are we aware of any statute of limitation relevant to the, at least the the statutes relevant in pertaining to Articles 1, 2, and 3, or 1 and 2, pretty much, instigating or assisting escape, or Article 2, officer permitting escape, primarily those two articles. I don't have the relevant statute or codes, but I think it may be in the resolution.
Statute of limitations for those crimes, those are federal crimes, and we would have to do additional research to find out what the statute of limitations is.
Representative Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Because of the sensitivity of the situation here, maybe legal counsel can provide a clarification, but because we have a sworn statement or a declaration before us, can we counsels if you guys are ready, because we have a sworn declaration here that's been made under penalty of perjury. Is it safe to ask the witness questions directly connected to or what's included in the declaration, and since again because of the sensitivity of her pleading the fifth, would asking questions directly out of the declaration compromise that her current situation here with us?
Whose declaration is it that you're referring
This
to?
I'm talking to Captain Cabrera.
Oh, actually, her declaration. The sworn dated February 5th, and because she's put down the events of that evening or early morning hours here before us, can we ask questions directly out of this, in spite of her pleading the fifth? Well, every question you can ask any question you wish, and it may not require invoking the Fifth Amendment depending upon the question. Also, in respect to the matters that are in the affidavit, that's a matter of public record. It's under penalty of perjury, and it has the same effect as if she were to be testifying to that today. So we can rely on that statement as her statement, or you can ask her question to clarify certain items in it.
Yeah, and what I'm getting at is whether I would even want to pose a question to her before pleading the fifth. You know, the declaration is self-explanatory, and I think it illustrates the I guess, chronological order of what happened then, and so I asked myself what would be the committee's purpose in having her testify or continue to testify after having invoked completed the fifth. It's obvious according to, or it's evident according to the declaration, why she reported to DOC in the early morning hours, how she left the facility and with who, and where they proceeded. She noted her personal observations at the location, and then left or was relieved. So I asked also for guidance on how we would proceed.
You can either ask her the same questions or ask her to clarify any matter that's raised by her statements.
I think if there's anything in here is maybe there's just one question I'm going to ask, and then it's going to be up to Cap to do that. But
may I?
yeah, go ahead.
Just to kind of hopefully clarify. And Ms. Cabrera, did you understand what the council has stated about your declaration? One, it is already public record. You know, you did make the statement. It was entered into the district court documents, and the reason we have it is because the matter is closed, and it is public record now. So it's almost the same as you kind of already telling us what happened. If there are let me just ask you, are you aware of any pending case regarding this matter at this point, either with you or any of the other DOC officers?
Sir, that one I do not know.
And that's what I would expect. If you know, say it. If you don't know, go ahead and say that as well. And so the council also said that we may ask a question regarding this public document that you may or may not choose to answer. I asked that I am going to allow the members to ask questions, and you may or may not answer. If you feel you are could be implicating yourself, then you obviously you know what to do already. But there may be questions, simple questions like, you know, whatever. Please take time to consider the answer if you wish to do so. Maybe I might start just by saying that based on your declaration, it's clear that on the early morning of that January 8th, you were at home resting, and you received a call from the commissioner, and that you were requested to come which you did. You followed instructions and you came. You put on your uniform and you went to DOC. My only question is, and I don't know this, I honestly don't, if a off-duty police officer were called in by the superior, would that, and let's say it's not your shift, right? You're not supposed to report to duty, but you are called in. Would that put you on duty when you come in? Would that put you on, like, would that trigger that you are now on duty once you put on that uniform?
I believe so, sir.
Okay. In other words, you are on the clock. I have to apologize to the members and to you, Ms. Cabrera. I kind of, as we were asking these questions, I failed to put you under oath. So I apologize for that. Would you kindly raise your right hand so I can put you under oath?
That was done last week.
Ma'am, every time, I believe we've done that for every witness. Ms. Cabrera, do you swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth?
I do.
Thank you. I'm sorry again. And I think you answered my question already. It's really just to clarify, if an officer who is off duty is summoned in, puts on their uniform and reports to work, automatically that person is on the clock. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And again, for clarification, this is not intended to in any way make you the subject of any investigation. You're merely attempting to clarify the issue at hand, and we appreciate any cooperation you may have. As for myself, I have the statement in front of me. The only question I wanted to clarify was whether once the employee, the officer reports to work, whether that person is now on the clock. My questions have been answered. Any other members? Rep. De La Cruz.
Thank you, Chairman. Captain Cabrera, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Just upon reading your declaration, I just wanted to get some information with regards to your position at the Department of Corrections. Your declaration states that you are with the Juvenile Detention Unit. Is this correct?
At the time, yes, sir. I was assigned to Catman Juvenile Detention and Correctional Facility from December of 2009 to June of 2010. There was an MOU in place with DCCA, and I was placed up there to oversee the juvenile detention at the time.
Oh, okay. So, but you were still within the Department of Corrections
Yes, sir.
jurisdiction. Okay. Now, with regards to your duty station with the Juvenile Detention Unit, do you know whether it's common practice for corrections officers to be on different type of duties? Let's say the corrections officer under the juvenile detention can also assist maybe in the female inmate corrections area, or even the other correctional facilities. Is that normal for?
Sir, I'm the only one assigned from DOC to juvenile detention at the time. There's no other corrections officers up there. I strictly focus on juveniles, not working down at DOC.
Okay.
At that time.
Okay, so at that time you were the only Department of Corrections officer assigned to the juvenile detention facility.
Yes, sir.
And on the morning of January 8th, but before you answer this second question, is the juvenile detention facility or unit manned 24 hours a day by a corrections officer?
It's a 24/7 operations manned by juvenile corrections worker. Employees assigned, hired by DCCA then to work at the juvenile detention. 24/7 operations.
Oh, okay. So there are other people assigned
They have their own employees there, sir.
juvenile workers.
Yes,
So you didn't need to be present during that time. That's why you were off, I believe, in the morning of
I'm
or early
always on.
morning.
I was on call. I'm always on call.
Oh, you
Because I
were on call.
oversee. I'm the OIC for the facility at that time.
Oh, okay. But in this case, you were not called to the juvenile detention unit. You were called to the main Department of Corrections unit, correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay. Thank you. I'll yield for now, Chairman.
Any other members? Vice and Chair, before we move on. Okay, if there are no, there's one more. Representative Debdet.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. More on clarification, because we have a document submitted by Captain Cabrera that's in front of us. I was going to ask the chairman or the body that are we now also entertaining this as part of the documents for us to also ask questions to the witness, because she is requesting a very specific consideration, or we're done with that, so we can move on with the question, or we're going to submit this as part of the document.
Thank you. Ms. Cabrera, Captain Cabrera, submitted a request for this body to consider, which was to waive her from appearing before this body. I think the chair, after getting legal advice from our legal counsel, pretty much denied her that request, and that is why she's before us. So any questioning should not be relevant to the request she made, since her request was not approved. If you wish to make raise some questions, not on that document, however, you may do so.
That's why I asked for clarification on specifically for the document that she had submitted for us to consider.
Before you ask one more question, I think it's only fair. I'm going to call for a short recess first and provide Ms. Cabrera, Captain Cabrera, with a copy of the declaration she had made, just to make sure that it is consistent with what she had provided. You have it already? Okay, so please proceed.
So we're fairly aligned, so that I can ask my question, Mr. Chairman, is that okay?
Please proceed.
Well, we have in front of us allegation on 5 articles, and just a few statements before I ask my question, so that we're in the same page with the witness. Article 1, basically, Article 1 and Article 2 of the allegations is that all these allegations are against the governor. What this committee is tasked to do is to make sure that informations are clear and perhaps even concise, crystally concise on these allegations, so that it assists the members or this body, this panel, on information that may be provided by witnesses, and to assert whether all these allegations are true or all these allegations are a bunch of lies if they're not false. In Article 1 and 2, there are allegations in violation of federal statute. Article 3, 5, and 7 are allegations in violation of CNMI laws. Do you understand what I said? Or are we in line with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's why we're now asking questions to different witnesses, and in this case, your witness on very specific. I may not need to go, for example, to Attorney General to Article 7 because that's not where you come in. So I'm going to try to focus into, so that we're on the same page on or about January 8th. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. But I still want to assert my faith, though, depending on your question.
Certainly. Because by asserting the fifth, you may be telling us something that may be bad for you. Is that correct?
Can
I
you,
will not answer that.
Rep, can you clarify that? What are you trying to, what is your...
Because I haven't asked question yet, and she's giving me a heads up that if, depending on my question, that she may invoke her fifth. And so I'm asking that question for clarification so that we're on the same line. Should I repeat my question?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand why you will be pleading your fifth, yes or no?
Yes.
That's clear for me. Thank you. On or about January 8th, what time did you arrive to the corrections facility?
If you read my declaration on page 2, sir.
Yes, can you please read that declaration on page 2?
Yes, it states, I had retrieved my firearm and I arrived at DOC and saw the time clock. At that time, it was 3:05 a.m.
Thank you, ma'am. And within that time frame of what had transpired, based on your affidavit, what time did you depart the corrections facility?
Don't know that time.
When you came to the corrections facilities, you were on clock?
The reason I remember the time, because I was running into my office to retrieve my firearm. I'm going out, I saw the time clock.
That's about 3:05.
3:05.
And then when you retrieved your firearm, you saw the clock and it was 3:05 a.m.
Yes, sir.
So I'm asking a simple question. Did you remember what time you left the facility after all things were taken care of to assist your superior?
I assert my Fifth Amendment, sir.
Who was your immediate superior at 3:05 January 8th?
Commissioner Dolores Aldon, sir.
So Commissioner Dolores Aldon called you while you were home, based on your affidavit, at about 2:30. Is that correct? 2:31 within the time frame.
I assert my fifth, sir.
So within the time frame of 2:30 to about 3:05, you may have been from home to the correction facilities. Is that correct?
Yes.
After 3:05, now we're heading into maybe even 3:06. According to your affidavit, you had some things to take care of. Is that correct? You retrieve your things that you need to.
Can you repeat your question, sir?
From 3:05 to, I'm just going to roughly say maybe 3:10, where were you in the facility?
Vehicular sally port, booking.
Vehicular sally port is outside the compound or inside?
No, that's on the rear side of the facility where they bring in, where we bring in our vehicles to load up, or where arrestees get down and they go into the booking area. It's gated.
So would you agree that within the time frame of about 3:05 to maybe 3:10 that you were in the vehicular sally port as well as sometime inside the compound?
Yes.
What is your rough estimated time that you had assisted your superior to try to bring out the prisoner?
I assert my Fifth Amendment, sir.
Thank you, Captain. I'm still trying to figure out from what time you came and what time you left the compound. Will you be able to help me roughly what time I think you said that 3:05 you came, and will you be able to help me pinpoint what time you left the compound? Was the sun up already?
Cannot help you on that, sir.
You think it was still dark when you brought back the prisoner?
I assert my Fifth Amendment, sir.
Do you think were the lights on or outside the compound when you brought back the prisoner?
I assert my Fifth.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rep. And Ms. Cabrera, just for our understanding of the process, not necessarily the incident itself, just so we understand, if a witness needed to be taken out of the facility for whatever reason, whether it's work release or I don't know, maybe to go attend a court hearing, what is the process? If you don't mind just explaining to us the process. The process, if a witness, if a detainee or witness, a detainee needs to be taken out to, let's say, go to court, there is a process that the DOC officers has to do to, for them to get out. Can you kindly explain what that process is? We don't know how the process is. So, do they take them from their cell straight out, or do they need to be? I think there's a term, a booking area or something, where they're brought, or how does that work? Just so for the members' understanding.
We have policies in place.
I think that's what I was asking, is your policies. They call them standard operating procedure, SOPs, is that what they call it?
Policies and procedures, sir.
How does that work? Just so we know, if a detainee was to be taken out, what is the policy and procedure for that? Not necessarily this detainee, but any detainee.
They're taken down to the booking, and then they'll be placed in, if they're going to the courts, to the hospitals. Outside of our facility, we have the jump room, the jumpsuit, the orange.
And that takes place in the
booking area.
Booking area?
They will put it on, and then the prisoners will be restrained. And then from there, they will be taken out to the vehicular sally port. The vehicles waiting, transported them to the courts, to the hospital. And then upon return, they come back through the same area, and then go into the booking, restraints removed, the jumpsuit taken off, and they're taken back into their sections.
So it's basically the same procedure in reverse.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And if a detainee is taken into the booking area, I think, where they put on the jumpsuit, is there any kind of like log or something that, kind of a log, I think. Is there a log for the booking area?
There's a logbook for the booking area.
So the logbook would basically show who the detainee is and what time they came in, what time they departed.
The logbook is used to log down arrestees coming in, who transported them, the charges, and then the booking officer will start processing the person coming.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is basically where they get like administratively when coming into the detention area, correct?
Coming into corrections, yes, sir.
I mean corrections. Thank you for clarifying that. What about does DOC conduct head counts, or like checking to see if the prisoners are still in their cells? Is that part of the policy and procedure of DOC?
Yes, it is.
Do you mind just telling us how often they would do head counts? Once a shift, or every hour, or what is it normally?
By the hour.
So you guys have procedures that, it doesn't matter whether who's there or any incoming shift, there's a procedure to follow for counting, doing head counts. Is that what you call it, head count?
Yes, sir.
And what does an officer need to do to confirm a head count? I mean, do they just look in, and as long as they can visibly see that that inmate is in there, that's already accounted for, I guess, then they move on to the next one?
You can say like that, sir.
Maybe you can enlighten us. Are there anything in specific you guys look for?
When we do head counts and the officer make their rounds in the section, we have to make sure the inmate is breathing, physically check the inmate in the cells, to make sure that they're present, their body's there, and they're okay, and they're breathing. And we do that.
Thank you, because the next question I was going to ask is, what happens if the inmate covers themselves and makes it look like they're sleeping? How do you actually confirm that they're the ones that are physically there and not just a pillow underneath the sheets?
Officers go in.
Thank you. Representative Sablan.
Thank you, Chairman. Captain, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
You mentioned policies and procedures earlier, and I'm assuming that pursuant to those policies and procedures, it provides for the circumstances upon which a detainee would be allowed to be taken out of the facility. And I made a quick list over here, and I guess what I did from you is to confirm whether those would be whether any of them are included in existing policies and procedures at DOC. Let's start with number one. I'm assuming that a detainee will be authorized to be taken out of facility if the detainee requires medical attention, either at the hospital or receive dental attention because of toothache. Would that be one of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay, number two, scheduled court appearances. Would that be one of them?
Yes, sir.
Work details, such as those that we observe on the side of the road during cleanups. Would that be one of them?
Yes, sir.
Health and safety issues, such as if there was a fire within the facility or a chemical hazard issue, would that be one of them?
Yes, sir.
And I'm assuming that facilities such as is it the Salmon Adult Correction Facility? Is that
The building is named after former the late Chief Vicente Salmon.
Vicente Salmon Adult Correction Facility?
The adult correctional facility.
Okay. So I'm assuming that in cases of health and safety reasons that there would be like a safe refuge. Is there a safe refuge, designated safe refuge area outside of the facility?
They're designated.
Designated?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be one of the reasons upon which a detainee would be allowed to be taken out of the facility. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Also, I see this when I go to motor vehicle, I guess trustee detail, where they're allowed to out of the facility and do help out over cleaning or whatever at like motor vehicle. Is that in there, or is that a continuing policy?
Yes, sir. That's assignments.
Yeah.
It's not a work release.
Okay, would there be any other circumstances upon which a detainee would be allowed to be taken out of a facility other than those that I've listed? Would taking a detainee out of the facility in the middle of the night, early in the morning hours, to provide masseuse service, one of them authorized by existing policies and regulations?
I plead my fifth. I assert my fifth, sir.
Okay, I respect that. Mr. Chairman, are you?
Any other questions from the members? Because we still have a big list, I'm gonna allow Representative De La Cruz to ask a short question, then we will dismiss Ms. Cabrera and move on to our next witness. Rep, you have, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Captain Cabrera, good afternoon again. Just a real quick question. Your self-declaration, and I assume other individuals had also submitted such declaration to the U.S. District Court. Was this declaration out of your own doing? Did anyone ask you to come in? We have a declaration for you ready. All we need to do is have you sign it. Did you read the declaration? And did you understand the declaration?
Yes, sir. I understand the declaration. This is my declaration. This is what I turned in.
So nobody forced you to sign this document?
No, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain Cabrera.
I already ruled to have the last question, but you may ask without objection to any member. If the members do not object, I will. Okay, with that, Ms. Captain Cabrera, thank you for appearing before us and for cooperating to the best of your ability. At this point, I do not think there may be a need for you to be asked to return to this body, but I tell every witness that in the event that the members feel that they wish to ask you further questions, that you be giving reasonable notice. I think our Sergeant at Arms already has your point of contact.